Sicilian.
And I like how they're sticking with their signature picks and of course their identities, as this is a match everyone is definitely looking out for. It is the clash of servers, ladies and gentlemen, and we are now about to enter the land of dawn. Let's see what happens here, because xorn, he's clicking those recalls really early into the game, but I must say, I am actually wondering about how the aggressive mid duos will play out in the early game, because this is a Sicilian Carmilla. I know recently Sicilians have been a little bit more aggressive in the early stages, but against this lineup, it seems like they're being the more aggressive mid duo right now.
First blood for xorn already. You can see, I guess that answers your question, that your doubt about the Sicilian and also the Carmilla. It's a great combo, Shark. Doing a good job now, just holding it in. And all right, he'll still be able to get hoon those minions.
Yes, and everyone, don't forget to check out the M6 pass available from the 18th of November up to the 29th of December. Complete all the active tasks during the event to reach level 75 for free. You get all the amazing rewards, including the battle emotes, the avatar borders, the special skins, and of course Claude's M6 exclusive skin and their prime skin. You'll also get a chance to get the figurine you see in the panel desk later on. When we head back, you can check it for yourselves, but for now we'll be heading back into this game as well, because after that kill onto hoon, this might just be a game where they have to be extra careful this time, especially as chibii. It seems like he's on the hunt already for another kill.
Definitely. It's already very aggressive start for Vamos here. The fact that they have the Sicilian and Carmilla, we know the interaction that you have now, an additional skill to utilize. But what I do want to talk about a little bit more is the fact that BTK have gone and opted to, have gone for the Terizla.
Yeah.
This Terizla has actually been the counter for the longest time towards the glue in the matchup, right, in the 1v1. And that's why you see the Festival of Blood here for Mr. Chicken. He wants to stay in the fights a lot more, and he knows he's going to be able to outdamage the glue.
And it seems like we're about to see it for the first time. How are they going to play around all the AoEs that are possibly going to be present in the upcoming team fights? Because they're just holding on to the turtle, and we've seen Smooth perform on the glue as well yesterday. He performed so well, just keeping on interrupting all of the members, but it seems like fwydchickn goes in first, but how will they respond?
Wait, the dragon, locking GB down. Ooh, great lantern flare. mobazane still on the Smooth, retribution not ready just yet. He goes over to Spirit of Alpha instead of the fight here, and it goes to xorn, securing the turtle. Gets knocked up, Curse of Blood knocking hoon up. Now Smooth has done what he can. It will be a trade, a kill for BTK, for Vamos, who gets the turtle.
xorn has gotten first blood, and he also secures the turtle for Team Vamos. What is up with xorn for this game? It seems like he's really confident in everything that he does. But now Shark definitely, he seems to want to go for the attempt. But there's another thing you have to consider if you are Shark in this game. Both Nets and Warlord, your primary targets, they're on Purify. So that might be quite a difficult job for Bloodthirsty Kings as well, especially as they haven't secured the best possible early game for their lineup.
It'll definitely be tough for BTK here, because for Vamos, all they need to do is technically go even in the early game, right? As long as they're not too far behind, I would say, what, 3,000 gold behind is still actually okay for Vamos with this kind of composition. Because all they need to do is wait for the Sicilian and the carry to get to those item power spikes. Meanwhile, for BTK, like you said, it does rely on them getting the mid-game a bit more compared to Vamos, or way more compared to Vamos. So the fact that Vamos secured Turtle 1 means it's a big win, actually, for Vamos.
Yep, they don't get to entirely interrupt like mobazane and farming all the attention. We're literally seeing it here in the mid lane. It's more on Shark and Hoon versus xorn and Warlord, and it seems like for I don't know how many times now another fight might be brewing here in the mid lane, but fwydchickn seems to be able to poke xorn so well now. He might be the first to fall, but look at the passive from Warlord.
Just calls him back. Whoa! xorn go back in. No more Crimson Beacon. mobazane goes over to Spirit of Alpha to the back. Chibii goes for the Soul Sever Hoon. Brave Smite. That's away the dragon from Shark to lock him down. Chibii will be taken out by fwydchickn. No, it's Shark who gets it, but it's Rage. xorn fallen. mobazane still dealing with the glue. Now pops the split. Smooth gets away, but it's great for BTK as they set up for the second turtle.
Talk about timings here. Just when we thought Team Vamos already got out of all the possible threats that could be brought by BTK, BTK decides that no, they're not they're not stopping that fight. They're just proceeding with it and caught Team Vamos off guard, especially as both Zia and fwydchickn, they were there, they were ready. Even xorn, I feel, just weren't really able to expect all of that pressure, and he couldn't just go back in and use the Curse of Blood, knowing that he's so low on HP. But Shark, though, might find himself alone here and will be taken out.
Oh.
But there's the flicker, and he will survive.
Good flicker out, respecting the damage from Team Vamos. Though that was a bit greedy from Shark, trying to go for the purple buff steal, though it all actually almost worked out.
Yeah.
Chibii, 0-2 currently, actually. Yeah, Chicken will be poked quite a bit, has to use the DPZ, that's the defensive penalty zone, to escape. So Vamos are still scaling up quite well. Again, for BTK, they need much bigger of a lead here to deal with Vamos' mid-game power spike.
Yeah, I think the Apatu that Chibii listened to earlier isn't really working just yet, but then we find mobazane in a very tight spot. Team Vamos just take him out, but I think there's a trade up top.
Okay, Net still has a Purify. Zia will get some free hits onto the turret. Shark walks up earlier. Net's able to just dash away, and that is a kill for a turret tier 1. But then Vamos continues it with another turret down below. So again, becomes a great trade for Vamos. 2 for 1. Chibii shoving the wave as well, forcing Chicken to catch that wave. And both teams now are just playing it super safe, waiting for the next neutral objective before maybe it becomes that fight that they want to look for.
I also do think that BTK, they just want to focus on the map right now, because as we all know, probably the True and the Jushin, in terms of early burst or follow-up for all those Way of the Dragons, might not be the best combo, especially if you're behind. So they're probably waiting for Zia to take part in all of the team fights for them to be more effective, more efficient. And as we all know, the AoE that's present in BTK as well. Just one beautiful penalty zone followed up with either the Bennett's Rage or the Nibiru's Passion. I think that could set things up a lot for Team Vamos. But you could say the same for them. They have the Curse of Blood. They have all those Bat's Impact, Bat's Feast from Warlord. So equally the same, whoever sets it up first and better for either of these two teams, they'll definitely gain the upper hand, especially as there might just be another potential team fight here in the Turtle Pit.
Mid prio for the Bloodthirsty Kings, that's a conceal. Smooth will be targeted down with the split 2. That's Bennett's Rage. Smooth taken out. Penalty zone from fwydchickn. Locking new members down, forcing Nets to use a Purified. Zia goes in. Chibii wins it out. Zia will be able to get a double kill now. That's Gajit Kundo onto 2. BTK collapse on Vamos. Chibii's taken down, but he will be able to survive. BTK with a winning team fight. But again, it was Chibii who got the turtle.
Yeah, and that was a very aggressive play from Zia, flickering in just to chase after Nets. They got the upper hand either way, but there was still a trade that went into the hands of Team Vamos. And speaking of trades, Chibii, knowing all that they've lost, will just try to shove the top lane a little bit, but clearly BTK, they're taking control of the mid game right now against Team Vamos. So you would think that they'd probably rely on scaling a little bit more, but really, we were expecting a much more aggressive version of Team Vamos earlier. I mean, this is still the Suyo. This is still the glue of Smooth. So now that they're being unsuccessful in terms of all those interruptions, this is a surprising turnaround for BTK.
I would say this is the strength and also the problem for Vamos, right? They are really good at stalling out the team fights, utilizing the bad impact to just deal consecutive damage. BTK are much better in an all-in type of fight. So if BTK get a burst down on the front line, Vamos are technically almost just forced out completely out of the fight.
Yep.
So for Vamos, they gotta make sure that Smooth gets the backup necessary. If Shark goes for the kick, they need to cancel that kick quick.
Yep, but the difference maker as well is fwydchickn and his timings of the penalty zone.
That's true.
It wasn't like they didn't attempt to do just that. It was more of like fwydchickn, he also went in with the penalty zone, tried to separate the other members of Team Vamos, therefore rendering all of these possibilities impossible for them. But speaking of possibilities, there's the Curse of Blood, but it doesn't hit much from BTK, and mobazane seems to be the first to fall.
That's a full lockdown. It's gonna be a 1-for-0 trade right now. Hoon goes back to the mid lane. mobazane is down. Vamos, they've been able to get some big pickoffs there with the chain CC, and again it happens through the Curse of Blood of xorn. But it's not just the Curse of Blood, man, it's that Petrify as well. Always just catching mobazane point blank.
I mean, they were so committed in that. The Curse of Blood, it didn't necessarily connect to 2 or more members of BTK, but all they needed was really just mobazane. But now speaking of Smooth, he goes in as well, but the damage is there from Zia, but the Lord will now fall into the hands of Team Vamos. All they did was just zone Mirko. They didn't engage in a team fight.
It's clean by Vamos. This honestly doesn't even look like Team Vamos from the Swiss stage that we've seen. They're such a high tempo kind of team. They always want to go for fights, and now we're seeing more of a you know, Vamos kind of like, let's go, right?
Yeah.
This is chill. Oh, I don't know if that works, but they're just playing it so chill. After getting a win, it's just pure discipline. They play back for the Lord, and again, there's no real reason for them to fight with this composition. Just constantly dishing out damage, but it's a Melfic gun already. Oh, man, that poke. Hoon already chunked in the mid lane. The Curse of Blood. Ooh, mobazane forced to use the Spear of Alpha defensively. fwydchickn goes in, isolated himself, and Nets just disintegrates him on this carry.
They still get to take down the mid lane turret. And they still have the Lord as well. So they're definitely looking to take out more turrets from BTK, especially with the fwydchickn down right now. So there are lesser chances of them going for the counter engage. But speaking of, Shark, he might just not commit the way of the dragon. So now they gain access to the mid lane turret, but there's the Lord here as well in the bottom lane. So at least they know that there are still possible setups from BTK, but let's see how this goes, because it seems like their focus will just be solely on the Lord.
They'll still be able to clear the Lord. It is Lord 1, but Vamos, to remind you guys back at home again, we've been saying this countless times, I'm starting to sound like a broken radio, but the fact that Vamos are not behind in the mid-game with a Sicilian and carry. This is great for them. The Curse of Blood almost connecting to Zia, but it's Rage not hitting any of the members. Vamos are happy with these trades. Even if they don't have a goal lead, they're still happy at this moment.
BTK, all they really have to rely on at this point is the amount of wave clear that they have, because Team Vamos, they're just constantly putting out the pressure towards BTK. I wouldn't think that BTK, knowing that they have a lot of housekeeping to do, would be confident enough to look for an engage towards Team Vamos, especially considering all the available resources. Like we've seen earlier, Xorn, he moves fast on his own, but he can also get the passive, take advantage of the passive to survive. But speaking of the Menace Rage!
Whoa! That was a lot of damage. Sky Piercer for Hoon too. You can see that execute. And I guess for Bloodthirsty Kings, you were talking about the damage, the wave clear they have, but also, I guess, the pick-off, right? That's something that BTK can still bank on in a lot of these team fights. It's just, when you pick off, you can only really pick off the front line.
Yeah.
Nets and Warlord, I don't think they can actually get to them without getting the frontliners. So, again, Vamos are chill with it. They lose smooth. It's still a smooth game plan.
Yeah, I mean, it's surprising to think that that's still smooth. I mean, it's one of the tankier heroes here for Team Vamos. But this just goes to show that BTK, they've already gotten enough items, possibly for Zia as well. They just need to be extra careful in terms of where they are going to position themselves, because Xorn, he can really just catch them off guard anytime he wants. Cast the Curse of Blood, even just to make them move away or actually split up. And this is the important part. I know this is just the enhanced Lord that we're talking about, but it is very likely that either of these two teams who get their hands on this Lord will get their hands on the base turrets as well. And now it seems like Team Vamos, they're the ones a little bit more confident in terms of moving up and scouting the members of BTK. But Smooth, he has to be mindful of all these pokes as well.
Oh, look at Chibii. Dealing with damage. Chibii? Oh, all the way alone, but it's Rage. Chibii is down. Isolated all the way. Now penalty zone from fwydchickn. mobazane will not decide to go with the Spear of Alpha. It is a purified down for Warlord. Zane gets caught in a sanguine closet, almost gets deleted by Nets, and you can see the damage output that is ready for Vamos. BTK with a one-member lead.
I mean, that could have been the difference maker, right? They could have just went straight after the Lord, but now that BTK, they're aware of the damage in the hands of Warlord, they still go for the Lord either way, but for Vamos, they have to be careful this time. Xorn might be the next to fall. He gets to flicker, or he gets to use the passive to get away. But still, Team Vamos, it seems like they wanted to go for the attempt.
They definitely needed to, right? Again, they have the range to actually deal with BTK. It's just, they just don't have any ways to retry it. Chibii should play it way safer. This is within their power spike. There was no reason for him to be flanking like that, especially considering he targeted Shark. You're not killing Shark. That's a toe roam.
I don't know if he knew that there were other members there, but I think at this point it's impossible to expect Shark to be alone. There will always be someone out there waiting for the setups, ready to provide the follow-ups. And now it's Team Vamos on the defensive side. BTK, they'll definitely take advantage of this. Shark might just be looking for a target. There's still the Curse of Blood. They can use that if they want to defend, but they have to be mindful because the poke coming in from BTK, it's no joke at this point. At least they have Warlord, but then they right now, BTK, they can definitely gain a lot more access to Team Vamos now that they're in this position, but look at the damage!
Oh, that was a mistake from Zane, the Spear of Alpha to his demise! And Team Vamos are able to defend BTK. They'll have to move back. Both the junglers making crucial mistakes.
I don't know what's happening anymore. I mean, that Spear of Alpha might have been a misclick, or it maybe should have been towards the other members of BTK, right? There was no way they still wanted to go for the engage at that point, because the other members of Team Vamos, they were already chasing after them. Now, they gradually move out of their base and attempt to regain control of the map. And this is another thing we definitely have to look at. I mean, both of these teams, I would say they really would specialize in team fights when it comes to their overall compositions. It is just a matter of who will be able to disrupt the positionings a lot more. All of those team plays that may happen. And speaking of team plays, Hoon will fall!
Oh, you can hear Malaysia here. In the M6 arena, they are going wild. Mobazane going to be stunned up, the bad impact as well. 2 members of the Bloodthirsty Kings have been taken down, and Vamos have been able to neutralize the lead of turrets. The base turret in the far lane that BTK had to play with, now it is gone, and it might be the end for BTK in game 1. See ya. Trying to go for the defense. Vamos have a wave in the mid lane. Mobazane trying to go for the cut right now. Azir gets chunked low by the arrow. The Bandit's Rage comes down. xorn will go in very deep. Zane taken low. fwydchickn, they need to go and cycle it through. That's going to be the penalty zone onto all of them. But again, it's Nets who is targeting the turret, the base down. Game 1 for Vamos.